I started out as a space nerd way back in the 60s when the space age was very young. I was inspired to become interested in the space flight business by watching the flights of the Mercury astronauts, John Glenn especially, in 1962 when I was only 7 years old. And I shaped my education and my career to bring me to the point where I was eventually, after many years of school and work, I was the chief scientist for NASA's Human Research Program that allowed me to help pick the experiments and the science that would be used to certify astronauts are able to go to Mars. Along the way, I did a lot of my own research aboard the space shuttle and the Russian space station Mir, and I didn't actually fly myself, but my experiments flew, and I trained the astronauts how to do my experiments. And then I became a science manager for missions on the Russian space station Mir and for John Glenn's space shuttle flight and for the last mission of Columbia. And then I became, as I said, the chief scientist for the Human Research Program and also the coordinating scientist for the mission of Scott Kelly with Russian cosmonaut Mikhail Kornienko during 1 year aboard the International Space Station, which included the twins' study of Scott and Mark Kelly. And like I said before, I've been a lifelong space enthusiast, and so I've studied a lot about space flight history, both with humans and robotic, and I've also been very interested in astronomy and other space-related sciences.
I would like to ask you, when do you think will be possible to send people to Mars or to the moon?
Well, we hope to send people to the moon within a few years. The current plan is for an international effort involving the US and Russia and the European Space Agency and probably Canada and probably Japan and maybe some others, and as well commercial interests, that is companies that build rockets and spaceships, and to start sending them beyond low Earth orbit in the late 2020s or even sooner than that, perhaps the mid to late 2020s. The programs are still being defined and studied, but understand that this time next year, sometime in 2020, we hope to see the first launch of NASA's next super rocket, which is called the Space Launch System. And on top of it will be the capsule that's called Orion, which will be the moon vehicle. It will fly without people on board in 2020. And then we hope it will fly with people on board as early as 2022. And when it flies, it will fly to the moon.